Welcome to National Arts. I'm Mike Baker. Our guest this week includes songwriter Steve Gillette, who's written songs for Ian and Sylvia, John Denver, Waylon Jennings, Anne Murray, and more. He's also toured internationally through 36 countries and the United States, performing his own music and teaching others the secret to writing the hit song.
Don't leave me down here, baby, all shackled to a chain. Won't you let me ride down with you, all on the 210 train? Won't you let me ride down with you, all on the 210 train?
We'll also visit with soprano Rosa Lamoreaux, who's toured with the Roger Wagner Chorale, performed at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and currently tours internationally with the National Gallery of Art Vocal Quartet. We'll meet Rosa Lamoreaux and Steve Gillette right after this. Rosa Lamoreaux is a noted recitalist who's been hailed for her versatile musicianship and radiant and effortless singing. She appears frequently at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, Smithsonian, and chamber music recitals around the world. What do audiences and critics find unique about her voice?
Well, I would say probably sense of pitch, the accuracy, the clarity, the sweetness of sound. I don't usually say these things about my voice, but crystalline is a phrase that's often used. And I think it has to do with the fact that I had an instrumental background, very strong. I played cello in ensembles, so chamber music has been part of my life since I was 10, playing the piano since I was 6. So I have a really good, strong musical background as well as a tuning background, which as a singer is very critical. I think also I'm very approachable. You know, I love performing and I love singing for people. And I think that comes across in my performances. Whether or not you're using music or doing it by memory, it still can come across.
Rosa's accessibility as a performer carries over into her teaching. She loves sharing her skills with others, whether it's one-on-one or in a choral environment.
You're not very brave. Here's what's happening. If you can sing the note, if you open your mouth, it'll be 3 times as loud. Here we go. Here we go. Yes. Yes, it's much more cheerful. I don't even care if it's slightly off. We can hear it that way.
Individualizing her instruction is one of Rosa's strengths. She has an encouraging word for each student and a remedy for every problem.
But I'll get to hear you individually, and you'll learn a lot more that way. I can see where you're breathing or where you need to open your mouth more, or what your tongue is doing, and I can give a little bit more attention just to you as an individual. So I really encourage you to do that. It's only scary the first time out. I love sharing what I know and what works with people, and I enjoy teaching all levels if people respond, and put some time in between lessons to see where we can go. The pace does have to do with how much time can be put in between lessons. I find it very rewarding to share and to see what works. Some things don't work with people, you know, some things that work with other students don't work perhaps with some other person.
How did you come to begin teaching voice at the Smithsonian Institution?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure who found my name, but I must have been recommended by someone here at the Smithsonian. And the Smithsonian Resident Associates program has so many interesting classes going on, and they wanted to add a singing class. They had other music classes going, and the first class we did was very well attended. They've all been basically completely full when we've offered them here at the Smithsonian. The one that I'm teaching right now is called Joy of Singing. I've done Joy of Singing 4 times, and I've done Joy of Singing 2, which is those who want to continue in a class as well, and then another class on Hollywood songs.
I know that you performed as a member of the California Opera Theater. At what point did you decide to not turn away from opera, but perhaps do more oratorio and recital work?
Well, I really like the variety that I have as an oratorio singer. As a recitalist, there's so much music available to me. Any recital that I want to do, I basically can plan and choose the music that I want to do. So certainly I'm in much more control about repertoire. I do a lot of chamber music. A member of the Chamber Artists of Washington. I sing solos with a lot of the Baroque ensembles here in the States and in Europe. And the variety, I think, is why I like it so much. I really enjoy opera, and I enjoy doing it whenever I have a chance to do it, but it's not the only thing that I want to do. It's rather, I think, an ecstatic piece, a lot of fast notes. It's all obviously on the words Alleluia, so that in a sense is easy, but also you need to bring life to that word every time you sing it in a different way. So there's a challenge.
When not doing Bach or Mozart, Rosa finds time for lighter classical fare. Come Ready and See Me and other pieces by composer Richard Hundley are certainly among her favorites.
I find them really rewarding to sing. They're vocal. They're not just a squeak and squawk of pitches, which perhaps has its own merit in some pieces, but they really fit the text very well. The text of this song is by Christopher Purdy, and it has a rather folk-like quality. This piece is simple. It's not a complicated piece. Some of his other pieces are much more difficult and more complicated.
Come ready and see me, no matter how late. Come before the years run out. I'm waiting with a candle. No wind will blow out. But you must haste on foot o'er my sky, for no one can wait forever under the bluest sky. I can't wait forever.
You're a member of the distinguished National Gallery of Art Vocal Quartet, is that correct?
Right.
Just finished with a tour, won an
Yes.
award. Tell me about that.
Well, it's a quartet which has been in existence now for 3 years. We're in residence at the National Gallery of Art, and we perform usually 2 or 3 recitals a year, and some of the other orchestra performances we may appear on as well. We did a wonderful tour to Europe this summer, won a competition in Yugoslavia, and it's a wonderful ensemble. It's one of the favorite things that I do as a performer.
You've toured nationally. You've sung in a good many of the United States. What's on the horizon for Rosa Lamoreaux?
It's really a fun year. Look at this whole year ahead, and I have concerts booked into September of '89, and actually that's the longest I've had. This is the longest time period with a whole year ahead. I've known about this concert in September for 2 years now, so I've had that on my book for quite a while. Generally, I have concerts through June, and then things fill up during the year, but every year has gotten busier and busier, and it's very sad when I have somebody call and ask me if I can do a performance and I already have something on that date, because I hate to turn anything down, because I love singing. It's really not so much for the money as it is for just simply the pleasure of performing and singing.
Well, I looked out my window and I couldn't keep from crying. I saw the train leaving, take my baby down the line.
Steve Gillette has written songs for a number of leading artists. His first hit, Back on the Street Again, recorded by the Sunshine Company, was where it all began.
And left the men behind. It did. It made all the other songs, have a little easier time being heard, and it brought a lot of opportunity to me as far as being able to perform my own work. It's great just to have some kind of recognizable, a little flag out there that has your name on it. And that was good. Linda Ronstadt, right around that time, did several of my songs, and she recorded a version of Back on the Street. Actually, I got to sing with her on it. It was a duet, which was a real thrill too. Something like that can really build your confidence. It can give you credibility with people who might be looking for good work, but just might not really give a careful listening to what you do. But at the same time, in a way, it kind of kicked me upstairs, because it got me involved in the music industry more, and it got me a little bit out of the circuit of traveling and playing in the places. And that, more and more as I think back on it, I realize that that's where the music came from for me, was the small clubs and the personal contact, even with only a small number of people in the room, but the idea that it was a valid expression and interaction, and that you were encouraged to self-contain musically, you were encouraged to do something that really communicated. And being kind of thrown into the music industry suddenly made it more of a group effort and more of an industry, and I had a lot to learn, and I was glad to be able to have the opportunity to do that. But in a sense, I'm kind of glad to be back traveling and making my way only on my own personal music in a more simpler sense, and more gratifying in so many ways.
You had a beautiful song recorded by Ian and Sylvia, John Denver, called Darcy Farrow, and it was really about real-life issues.
Again, in terms of blessings, the Darcy Farrow is something that's very special. It's a song that's come to mean a lot to me, and through being fortunate to have John Denver record it, for one thing. His version of it was on the same album with Rocky Mountain High, so it's I think it's over 4 million in sales now, and so many people have become aware of the song through his version of it. The first version was Ian and Sylvia. Where the Walker runs down into the Carson Valley Plain, there lived a maiden, Darcy Farrow was her name, the daughter of old Dundee, and fair was she, and the sweetest flower that bloomed o'er the rain.
Steve enjoys sharing the secret of his success with other songwriters. He teaches his students to avail themselves of every opportunity. According to Steve, never mail a publisher a song if you can get it directly in the hands of the performer.
Anne Murray didn't happen to be there in the afternoon, and none of her people were there, and I had to leave, so I put the cassette in an envelope, and I just wrote on the side of it, you know, on the front of it, I wrote for Anne Murray, and I left it with the woman in the ticket office, and she passed it along, and I heard from Anne Murray's producer, Jim Ed Norman, about 2 months later, and he said, we like that song, and we're gonna record it. And I was thrilled, but I hadn't expected it. I mean, I was willing to let the tape go, which you need to be willing to, you know what I'm saying, it's give it your best shot. What I like about it is we get a room full of people who have a certain amount of awareness about songs. They know that there's the possibility there of them finding expression, finding a meaningful way to translate real issues in their own lives, and also the hope of finding a phrase or a musical moment that will capture the imagination of an audience and hopefully at that point become or be a possible hit song. I know that some of us are wondering, well, what has to happen for us to get the work that we've already done into that stream? How do we get that flow? And the reason I'm making sure that we don't go too quickly into or skip over this is because it needs to be a complete flow. We need to see it from the very beginning, and we need to see it go all the way through, and we need to have something come back to us, or we won't be able to sustain the kind of energy that it takes.
When crafting a song, Gillette counsels his students to look for that essential moment.
In one way. There's something wonderful about the way that the words and the music reinforce each other or hang together, or the synergy of it, the way that a well-found phrase, sometimes it's very accidental, sometimes it's ironic, things that occur to us in a moment, or those times when we seem to be able to see a great distance or see something in our own experience that we can share with others. And to set that musically and to be able to have that emotional musical translation be true is in some ways a gift, but in some ways it's just working with it and hearing how others have done it and being willing to risk our own expression. I don't want to lose my newfound friend. So many things do fall through, but I don't pretend that she's the love I'm used to. Still I blame myself for every cruel and careless thing I do. She can't help it if she's not you.
You have a new song called Grapes on the Vine that has been recorded by Waylon Jennings. Tell me about that song.
Grapes on the Vine was a poem, a complete poem when I found it, and I admired it so much, and it's one of the reasons that I work with Charles now is because in a sense, I sort of pursued him and said, I really hear this, and I want to sing you what I've got with it. And of course, he pointed out this music has been set to it 4 times. There are songs the birds don't sing to people, secrets that keep right through to the end, heroes that hide until forever, and I'm singing this song for one of them. He's the man that you passed on the road there, the one with his life on the loose, going either somewhere or nowhere, going without me, without me. But he is this world's constant orphan, traveling out his long time, living on apples from orchard and dying from grapes on the vine. The song The River is full of the same kinds of observations. It's trying to recharacterize a sense that we have about our American past, the rivers, the Huckleberry Finn sense of it. And to me, I think Charles has done that really well poetically. He's someone who seems to have the ability to revivify these kinds of almost stereotypes that have become somewhat worn out, but he seems to be able to bring back to them a certain sparkle. And I like that about The River. That's one of the things that I was very enthusiastic from the first that he told me about the idea. I've seen the paddle wheeler rolling south on a summer's day. I've seen lovers at the guardrail with stars in their lemonade, and I've heard the hobos gather, heard their banjos grace the glade, heard them sing about the river, called it the lazy man's parade. Sing me that song about the river, green going away. You know I always did feel like a drifter about this time of day.
Is songwriting really a profitable venture?
Yes, I think it's very, very rewarding. I'm not speaking from personal experience in saying that you'll amass a great fortune. If you write one good song and it's recorded by an artist of some substance, you'll make a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars. If you spent 20 years writing one song and that song was Gentle on My Mind, you would have earned a meager $200,000 a year. You know? When your loving baby leaves you, Lord, it makes you feel so bad. Makes you think about the well-known and the good times you had. Don't leave me down here, baby, all shackled to a chain. Won't you let me ride down with you, all on the 210 train? Won't you let me ride down with you, all on the 210 train?
That's it for National Arts. Thanks so much for being with us. And until next time, remember, art was meant to be appreciated, so be a part of it.
She can't help it if she's not you. She can't hold me like you held me. She can't make me feel the same. No, she's not the one I dream about. She's not the one to blame, and it's not what she deserves from me, for the love she brings is true. She can't help it if she's not you. She can't help it